Sorry if I've been a little unactive or infrequent recently. I've just had a lot on my plate recently. I've been going to school, doing some work stuff, hanging out with some of my friends. I've just had a lot to do, and some of my hobbies have kind of fallen by. In all seriousness, there just hasn't been a lot recently that I've wanted to talk about. You might notice my top 5 of the year list was almost entirely comprised of movies that had come out during or before summer. The Holdovers, of course, being an exception, but that's a very simple movie that I don't really feel like needed a full deep analysis or any insightful thoughts. Plus, it's not like anybody went to go see that movie, so who would see me do a review of it? There just wasn't a whole lot that I wanted to talk about near the end of 2023, and January in 2024 wasn't looking much better. Well, that was until the Day of Lovers rolled around.
Do you like music? I have the cure. Ooh. Oh, not that kind of cure. They can't make you better. I mean, they can, but like emotionally.
Feel good.
That hand is gonna do terrible things. For life or the electric chair, but I don't want to die a virgin.
Lisa Frankenstein is my favorite movie of 2024. Which, yes, I realize isn't saying a whole lot, but just stick with me on this. This is one of the most enjoyable movie theater experiences I've had in a very long time, and this movie just feels really special. I mean, there's tons to like in this movie. It's got a great cast, a lot of the sets are really cool, there's a surprisingly deep, full use of cinematography, the soundtrack's really good, all of the costuming's excellent.
My God, she's something special.
Okay, that's enough simping for one day. But what is Lisa Frankenstein actually about? Well, for starters, it's a story about a socially awkward girl who could absolutely fix me, who falls in love with undead Cody from The Sweet Life. Oh yeah, and this footage I'm showing right here, yeah, this is how the movie opens, with this very interesting credit sequence that reminds me a lot of the Deathly Hallows sequence from Harry Potter. Okay, I know it's a bit of a normie thing to reference Harry Potter every time there's an animated sequence in a live-action movie, but I just really like this scene, okay? And it not only serves as the opening credits, but also a clear visual backstory for the character of the creature in this movie. How a movie opens is very important, because if you can hook your audience in a very special way, you're more likely to get their attention, which means they're more likely to pay attention to the other stuff you do well. When this scene started, I pulled a pro gamer move and physically sat forward in the theater, because I realized I was about to watch something special. And something special this is. Lisa Frankenstein is a quintessential, perfect cult classic midnight movie. A film whose closest kin is the Rocky Horror Picture Show or Jennifer's Body. Hey, a film that knows exactly what it is and is not trying to be anything more. A film that exists for purely one reason: to entertain. Catherine Newton and Cole Sprouse are perfectly utilized in this movie. Just as a frame of reference, I only know Catherine Newton's acting talents from Freaky, Detective Pikachu, and Ant-Man 3. So let's just say I didn't expect a whole lot out of her. But she seriously acts her dick off in this movie as the kind of woman that would perfectly fix me. Cole Sprouse also does an amazing job, especially when you consider that his character has basically no lines of dialogue. And what they did to my man's face in this movie rivals the Penguin from the Batman. Okay, so maybe we don't get that intense, but it's still very impressive, the kind of makeup they put on him to make him look like this grotesque monster. Until he eventually just turns into another Tumblr sexy man. But you know what? I'm not judging. I mean, the main thing I hope to portray with this video is that you can simp for whoever you want. I mean, isn't that what Saint Valentine fought for all those centuries ago? Isn't that why we absolve Valentine's Day to begin with? Put that one on a Blu-ray box. Simp for whoever you want. I couldn't even say the joke. Sure, the story may be cliche and predictable, but there's nothing wrong with a predictable story as long as you're entertaining your audience. And entertain this movie does. Lisa Frankenstein operates in the real world, but uses a type of heightened reality to expand upon archetypes of its genre. Basically, everything in the story is completely blown up to 11 to make all of the humor feel even funnier. When we have to show our protagonist getting more confident as the story goes along, she starts dressing like Morticia Addams for some reason. One of the characters literally threatens to throw somebody else into an asylum for putting a worm in their food. One of the characters' literal names is Taffy, and they call her Laffy Taffy because she's the positive, bubbly girl in the story. This is what we refer to as camp, where, yes, it's stupid, but it has verisimilitude with the rest of the story, so it just ends up being entertaining instead of being ridiculous. All of the characters, performances, sets, cinematography, all of it operates on this heightened sense of reality. So when you get these extremely heightened versions of reality, they feel real because everything else is operating under the same rules. The best example of a popular story that does this well is Barbie. Both Barbie Land and the real world are incredibly heightened versions of our own world. The sets, performances, characters, etc., all of it is incredibly heightened. And sure, it's ridiculous, but it's entertaining and believable because everything remains consistent with how ridiculous it is. I mean, for God's sake, there's a chase scene around the main house where Lisa Frankenstein is running around and never at any point thinks to go out the front door and just run away from the house. Is it a stupid character moment? Maybe. But is it an entertainingly exaggerated version of horror movie chase scenes? Definitely. And that's the main core part of Lisa Frankenstein that I feel makes it feel so nice. Entertainingly exaggerated. I mean, just look at Carla Gugino's performance to see how heightened everybody in this movie is. Over-the-top performances remain consistent with the story because everything is the exact same way. That's how you can have an actual serious story but still have a fun and energetic story, which again is a very big part of this. Fun and energy. It's just so fun. The performances, the colors, the sets. Cole Sprouse chops a guy's dick off. Hey, that's the dad from Stranger Things. And then they have sex. Honestly, I could go on and on about all of the little intricacies that made this movie so fun to watch, and really, that's the most important part of what I'm trying to say. This movie's just a fun watch. There's so many plot inconsistencies, weird character moments, bad pacing, stupid tension. I mean, one of the first things we learn in the story is that a very important character was killed by somebody before the movie began, and we just never figure out who it was. Like, they set up a classic J.J. Abrams mystery box in, like, the first scene, and they just never talk about it again. Genius or idiot? You tell me. As an actual, like, real movie, I'd probably have to give this, like, a 7 out of 10 or something. But for me personally, 10s across the board, baby. This is one of the most enjoyable movies I've seen in a very long time. Which is why I need you to go see this movie. You know I never ask you for anything. I don't ask you to subscribe. I don't ask you to like. But I need you to go out and watch this movie in a theater. Go see it twice. Bring your family, your friends, your wives, your kids, your moms, your dads, your teachers, your priests, your rabbis, your ministers. Kidnap them, bribe them, hold them at gunpoint. I don't care. Just go see this movie. I need you to see this. And I need her.
Does he have more of a basketball bod or a football bod?
He doesn't play sports.
I tend to his grave.
I talked to him.
I wish I was with you.
Who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.